to show you how to make a writing or instructions page using Adobe Express. So there's some similarities from doing the collage page, right? You can add images, text, things like that, but there are a couple other elements that I want to show you here that I think would specifically work well for writing or instruction pages. So you want to make sure that your page is fitting your theme, right? So I'm going to pretend that I'm making a zine about pizza, and so I'm going to show you different ways that I could make a pizza themed page that either has writing or is instructions. So of course we've got our text tool, right, that we're going to use to write whatever it is we're writing, our writing or instructions. But we also want our page to look kind of cool, right? So there's some different ways that we can do that. If you click on elements, there's a whole section of frames that you can use. So if I click on view all, I can see all the different frames. And so I could pick a frame to have around the outside of my page that will just make the page a little bit more interesting to look at, right? Like if it's just a page of just writing, it's not as fun to look at. It's not as interesting, right? So there's all kinds of different frames here that you can use. So there's different themes, right, that you can look through. If you click view all, you can see all of the ones under that theme. Like here's one that's potato chips, right? You can also search for things, right? Maybe if I want a flower frame, it will give me all the different flower frames that are an option. And so if I find one that I like, I can click on it and it will add it to my page. But you'll see that it's small right now. So I can either drag it so that it fits the whole page, but what you'll see what happens is I lose a little bit of it. So another thing you can do is just click on set as page background. Right, and so now there it is. It's my page background, and I can add writing on top of that. So I can now click on the text tool, add my text, and then add whatever writing I want to add. But remember that I'm making a pizza-themed page, right? And this frame doesn't really match my pizza theme. So I'm going to see if I can find a frame that does match my pizza thing. So I'm going to go to elements and I'm going to search for pizza into frames. And you'll see that I don't find anything. So if you don't find a frame that you like, that you want to use that matches your theme, what you can do is, I'm going to get rid of the frame that I have. You can actually make your own frame. So if I just go back to elements and I type in pizza and not frames, then it gives me some images of pizza. And what I can do is I can pick one that I like. I'll just go with this simple one here. And I can copy and paste it using Command C and or Control C and Control V, or 2-finger click and copy, and 2-finger click and paste. And then I can like drag it out, so I can paste it a bunch of times to create my own pizza frame. All right, so now I've got the whole bottom is covered with pieces of pizza. And what I can do now is click on one of them, then hold the Shift key while I click on the rest of them. And that way I'll be able to copy and paste all of them together. So now I'm going to press Control C to copy and Control V to paste. And what happens is it pastes all of the pizzas. But maybe I want the pizzas at the top to be pointing down. So I'm going to use this button right here where it's like a little turny arrow. And I can turn all my pizzas around. So now the top ones are facing down. Right? So I've created my own pizza-themed frame here that I can now add my words into. Right. Oops. Remember that with text, I can change the font over here, right? There's tons and tons of different fonts that I can choose from. There, I can change the size. I'm going to make it smaller so that it actually fits, right? I can make it curved. I can make it into a circle. Maybe I'll leave it like that. I can change the color of the text. If I click on custom, I can really choose any color and any value of that color. Right. And you can also add shadows and things like that, different shadows to your text. And then there's also text effects that will give you things like textures and things here. And again, if you click on view all, there's a ton of different textures and things that you can use. So, you know, maybe if I wanted to look like it was dripping, I could find one that looks, you know, drippy, right? Or you could also, like, I can put in here dripping cheese as a description. It will give me possible, there we go. Now it's giving me text that looks like dripping cheese. So if I wanted to, I could choose one that I liked. And now my, it'll take a second, but my text will look like it is dripping cheese on my letters instead of just colors, right? So there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do here. And I'll make I'm going to change, I'm going to have it be regular so you can really see the effect better. Right, so now you can see it looks, I mean, it kind of looks like dripping cheese on my letters, which is pretty cool. So those are some things you can do as well. If you are doing instructions, say, and you want to have like images that show you how to do something. If I go back to media, like we used on the collage page, and I typed in like making pizza, right? If I wanted to have a page that shows you how to make pizza, I could use this image right here, right? And this shows you, you know, how to, what to do with the dough, right? So I can, you know, add that in. I could also, if I wanted to have like a drawn diagram, a diagram that I drew, I could just leave a blank space on here for that diagram. And then when I print it out, I can add the drawing into it, right? So you can do a combination of things where you're creating the text, say on Adobe Express, but then you print it out and you can add drawing elements or diagram elements onto the page also. So it doesn't have to just be completely made in Adobe Express. So you can add images, you can add different elements. Remember, there's also backgrounds here. So if I click on background, I wonder if they have a pizza background that I could use. They do, right? So if I click on one of these, it will make my whole background, right? Little pizzas. Now that might make it a little bit harder to read the text. So maybe I'll click on shapes and get like a basic rectangle that I can put behind my text that will make it easier to read the text. Now just put my text in front of that. All the pizzas are in the way. There we go. Put it underneath my text. Now it's a little bit easier to read my text, right? So these are all things that you can play around with. You do want your words to be legible, so make sure that you're not putting too many things around them so that you can't read what it says, right? So this is a great tool for making your writing pages and your instruction pages as well. But again, you can also do a combination. You could do the writing on here and add any drawing or diagrams or whatever you want on the paper once it's printed out.